Hey, everybody, here we are in the second week of Pentecost. We're dropping into proper 6 in the prayer book in our daily office lectionary, which means we are beginning the book of Romans this week, which is very exciting because this is the beginning of an adventure. We get to read Romans over the next several weeks. It's a massive, multifaceted book. Uh, that has had immense impact on the church and through the church on Western civilization and through Western civilization, all of human civilization. The book of Romans has had such a profound influence in how Christians and those influenced by Christians um, view themselves in relationship to God and the law and sin and redemption. You can look at Paul's letter to the Roman as really his apostolic testament. This book, more than any other, is his strongest expression of how he understands the gospel and his own vocation to bring the gospel to the Jew first and also to all those Gentiles, Paul being the apostle to the Gentiles. But to do that, he's got a lot of explaining to do. Now, at the heart of Romans is Paul's account of what he calls the righteousness of God. Okay. Now that's one of those kind of fancy Christian words, righteousness. What does it mean? Well, here's what it means in Paul's writing here in Romans. God's righteousness is his faithfulness to the covenant that he made with his people, Israel, and it is God's creation restoring justice. Because God made the world, he made it good, and chaos, evil, and death have intruded into the world. They have destroyed and twisted and corrupted it, and doggone it, his justice demands restoration of the world and retribution to those who corrupt and destroy it. And now this righteousness from God, faithfulness to the covenant, creation restoring justice, has been shown to the world in the life and death and resurrection and the ongoing reign now of Jesus of Nazareth. He is a Jew descended from David. He was raised from the dead. He is now Lord and Savior, and he is intent on regathering and restoring the world and all who live in it. And that means he's got to overcome some adversaries. That is the gospel that Paul announced, even in the capital city of the Roman Empire, right there, the belly of the beast, Rome. And Paul's proclamation put him and the Christian communities all over the empire on a head-on collision course with the propaganda of the Caesars of Rome, because they had a very strong narrative. And to say Jesus is Lord and Savior is to contradict the Roman narrative that Caesar, the son of a god, is the Savior and Lord of the Roman Empire, of the whole world. And Paul's proclamation also subverted and transformed the entire philosophical and religious movements of the ancient world. He was preaching confrontational message in that context. Now, in Romans, his letter to the Romans, Paul also addresses the practical problems that they were having living this gospel message in a multi-ethnic, multicultural world, which the Roman Empire very definitely was. And the city of Rome, I mean, all roads lead to Rome, and it probably is, compared to any city today, extremely diverse. And the gospel message gathered followers of Jesus from many different backgrounds into this unprecedented community in which they had to learn together how to cohere with a new Christ-centered identity. Okay, so the differences between Jews and Gentiles, between slaves and free people, between rich and poor, between the cultured and the barbarians. These differences were vast, and they all had to be reconciled in the shared community of these Christian churches, these house churches scattered all over the city of Rome. So the opportunities for friction within these congregations were many. And indeed, rivalries and fissures were very evident in the different competing house churches throughout the city. So Paul is writing, he's writing from Corinth, by the way, to help them, these Christian communities, cohere better. He's dealing with the issues that are dividing them, not only for the sake of the gospel, not only for the sake of the mission into the city of Rome, but also for the sake of his own mission planning. He's got a long-term plan. He wants to use Rome as a home base for journeys to Spain, to Gaul, maybe even up to Britain. I mean, he wants to go from Rome to the entire western edge of the empire, just as he had used Antioch back on the other side of the Mediterranean Sea as a base of operations in the east. So Paul's very savvy, very long-term planner. This is his plan, and it all hinges on whether or not he can help that church in Rome draw closer together in their Christian identity, in their Christian community, to serve as a fit base of operations to the western edges of the empire. So stay tuned for the next video to see how he approaches that. The next video will look at chapters 1, 2, and 3 of the book of Romans, which are assigned for this week. Thanks, God bless you all, and I hope you enjoy this wonderful writing from St. Paul.